Welcome to our very first episode of Single Black Female New England. I'm your host, Lolly Marcelin, and my co-host,
Angelita Shevins.
And we are extremely excited to have you with us today. The premise of our show is to begin an open dialogue as it relates to how Black women are living, surviving, and experiencing both dating and personal plus business life in the New England market.
Yes. So I've lived in Massachusetts specifically for over 30 years. So all of my adult dating years has been in Massachusetts. And so we are coming together because it's been challenging. Lolly has had less experience in this dating pool or market than I have. She's, a little bit over 3 years. But it's been very challenging. I took a hiatus from dating for a while. I would say over 9 years, almost 10 years. And once I re-entered the dating pool, it's just been very challenging. And so we, Lolly and I came together and said, hey, and in my circle of friends, I know women who have been having the same experiences, having trouble, dating. So we're having this conversation, not as experts or anything. It's just we're trying to come to a place of understanding so we can improve the dating lives of ourselves and those who are participating and wish to date as well.
And you would be absolutely right. So I've only been in the New England area for 3.5 years, but have lived in major metros like Atlanta, Orlando, New York, upstate and such. And so I have found nothing but challenges trying to date, and even if you will live in New England, not so much on the prosperous point of view, just more the day-to-day point of view. And so our focus is, because we definitely always like to give a disclaimer, is that we are not here to bash men of color because we love our brothers. We are not here to impose our opinions on you. We're looking for open voices. We're looking for collective conversation. We're looking for insight and recommendations.
Absolutely.
We want tips, right?
Yes, absolutely.
On how to navigate this type of space and this type of climate under this type of regime in this type of dating environment. So the premise of our show is this. Every week we pick 4 words to elaborate what our experiences are with those words in the dating, personal life, business life, and such in the New England market. And so Angie will kick it off with the first word, which is intimidation.
Yes, intimidation. And also let me add this. Please just extend grace to us.
Right.
Our intention is never to cause any offense. I know that we are in a culture of canceling people and the cancel culture. I just want to say again, we're just trying to come to places of understanding, so extend your grace. And please try not to take offense to anything that we say. If you do, be willing to have open discussions with us and let us know. So yes, intimidation. So I can't stand that word. Like it's it really bring forth and draw out and call emotions excuse me, that are not good feeling, because I can't stand it. I can't stand hearing it. I've heard it from a lot of my male friends when I try to go to them and ask them to give me, to tell me how I come off, so that I can, when I go out and, and would like to meet someone, just how am I presenting? And a lot of times, and many times I've heard intimidating or intimidation. You are very intimidating, or you come off intimidating. Why? So one thing is, I I don't accept that. I refuse to accept that. I don't know if it's like false humility or just trying to live in a space of being humble, but I just, as a shy person, yes, believe it or not, I am shy, which is, I'm a walking paradox, because here I am on a podcast, but claiming to be shy, but it's just so hard for me to understand me coming off as intimidating. And so I do ask them to elaborate, and oftentimes they say, well, you look very well put together, you are cute, you're beautiful, and you have somewhat of a no-nonsense presence, which I don't, it's still hard for me to receive. So, I am not approached a lot. I'm not approached a lot, and I'm just, oh, you're intimidating. What does that mean? And how can off just first glance or off glances or appearance do you say? And I know a lot of black women that
in this market,
that's what they say to me. That, oh yeah, people say I'm intimidating. What does that mean, you guys? Help me understand how not to be intimidated.
So, on this show, we agree to disagree.
Yes.
And I embrace intimidation. I really do. Because there's levels to this shit. Like, you're not going to sit here and make me feel less than, feel that I'm doing something wrong, feel that I have violated or that I am attacking your manhood because your perception of my being is intimidation. As a strong black woman, and I embrace that word, strong black woman who has pulled themselves up, both Angie and myself, from bootstraps, if I'm intimidating you, then I wish you the best in life and I wish you the best luck. Move forward. And that sounds harsh, I get it. No, I don't believe that I'm going to be alone because I'm intimidating you. I believe that I'm going to meet a man who understands what I'm bringing to the table and can embrace that for himself and use that as an asset as we move forward together. The terminology in New England for intimidation is another way, in my opinion, to humble a black woman who has decided that I'm not going to live within the norms that you've set for me, and I'm not willing to settle because you yourself are not willing to upgrade. The terminology of intimidation in New England, to me, has been, you're not going to make me, the black man, push more, push harder, provide more, be stronger for you, when I could simply find someone else who asks nothing of me, who doesn't put requirements in front of me.
Oh, damn, you're saying a lot. That's a lot. Wow. Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Clearly. So, wow. Again, I don't know, because I would love to hear the perspective of these men of why they're feeling.
Absolutely.
I hear what you're saying.
Absolutely.
But I'm call me naive, but I'm trying to hope and think that those are not the reasons why they're saying that we're intimidating.
What has your dating experience been? Because you've seen it for yourself.
But then I really don't understand why you're intimidated by that. I
do.
So I'm trying to figure out their points of reference. Like, I really and it's our women that I'm hearing that from. Like,
yeah, especially out here.
Yes, especially I'm hearing that. So, what is it in our presentation? Is there something in our presentation? Because at the end of the day, a sister's trying to get some dates. So
it's some D.
Girl, that part. But it's okay, so what is it in our presentation? Because it's coming from a place of understanding.
It is.
I really need to understand what it is without me placing what I think it may be, why you're saying that. Because a lot of times I don't even get approached for them to know these things that, you know, to know what maybe I've been through or what I've pushed through and what my goals are. And I haven't even had the approaching, you know, to say, okay, maybe I came off intimidating through conversation. I'm not even getting approached, Lolly. How about you?
I mean, I'm with you most of the time. And no, we're not getting approached. You know, we make a joke about being zoo animals and being observed, like we saw at the ball.
Yeah.
We looked stunning, and men were in a room of beautiful women of color, and they just gawked. They looked, which. You know, I'm going to have to say brings us to our second word of identity, because in my eyes, we came into that room identifying as strong, black, attractive, well-dressed, put together women. And that identity automatically made them feel less than without even saying hello, goodbye, or wish you the best in life. It was almost as if our presence made them uncomfortable.
Well, again, I can't assume to know what they were thinking, whether or not it made them feel a certain way about their identity. I will say though, when we present as confident,
culturally aware women, black women, right? That
we're not approached. I haven't been approached. You know, what is it where women who identify, women who may not have the, you know, the relaxed hair, the chinois bun, the blunt cuts, or the roller set hair, and the French manicures, and the, you know, Abercrombie and the J. Crew and the Brooks Brothers look, and, you know, are not being approached. And, you know, or so women who clearly identify with just being black and blackness and present, you know, because our history has been very colorful as black women and black people to express ourselves in the way we adorn our hair, the way the colors that the vibrant colors that we may wear, you know, those expressiveness, and you know what I have really noticed is that you know, you've lived in a lot of major cities that has very large successful black population. I do know that living in New England and specifically Massachusetts in the Boston area, that there are only little pocketed areas of blacks and
that show black excellence.
Not even that shows black excellence. It's so funny. My oldest daughter just said something to me about even the term black excellence. I would just say black, just a concentrated place of black, where there is even diversity in the population. You know what I mean? Where the status, education levels, socioeconomic, you know, earnings, but I want to say is that it's not a black, and New England is not known for having large black populations. So in schools, and again, I'm not trying to make excuses, but what is surrounding most black men is whiteness. And I feel like what I've observed is maybe to gain access to certain rooms and to certain things that they may identify as being successful, they don't see it happening with black women. And so because they don't see it happening with black women, I'm just even thinking, you know, I've lived in the suburbs, raised 3 children in the suburban area. 2 of my girls are in college right now, and for them, they've had tough experiences in even just dating or like not even dating, but you know, being liked in school because they have been treated with just indifference, like you don't really exist. Where, you know, I think about like MEDCO programs and things like that, where the black men will have different experiences if they attend predominantly white schools where they're accepted. They're more, you know, become more of the brothers, and even as an educator and observing this, where they will not associate with the black girls. And I don't know if it's because it's a distancing. It's almost like a distancing. And then not only will they not associate with the black girls, but they also will make critical comments about the black girl's appearance. And so I just feel like even in the schools, when I'm seeing this, it's a microcosm of what's happening in the larger environment in New England, where black men feel like black women, if they're dating black women or associated with black women, that it's not going to get them into the social status or into the tax bracket that they desire, at least. And again, that's a small, because again, it's only one person. It's, you know, I'm just giving my perspective, but this is what I have observed. You know, I'm a person who is very eclectic. I like many things. I like a, you know, block party barbecue, but I also like to go to the Museum of Fine Arts. There are just various things. I feel like whichever room I find myself, I feel like I belong, and I would definitely want a black man, you know, next to me in any room. But I do feel that for black men, what I have observed is that they feel like they can only exist in certain rooms with a non-black female.
So this is going to bring me to my point. Then the identity is, and I'm gonna put it on the table, that there is a self-hatred identity for black men, in my personal opinion, because they rather believe in black existence and not black excellence when they look at black women. Now, you made a comment about I've lived in cities where black women have been successful, black men and women as a couple. Yeah, Atlanta. Yeah, the DMV. Yeah, you could say Chicago, Los Angeles, or California, right? Texas, right? Let's get down to it. And I find that, as I mentioned to you before, okay, so you're going home to a black mama growing up, right? New England does not push for the black community as a black child growing up. Most women, I'm a 70s baby, you're a 70s baby. So we've seen a lot of black women who had very low-end blue-collar jobs. Let's put it out there, right? And so that black man did see the daddy probably leave. That black man probably did see his mother struggling. There's some level of blame there. There's some level of self-hatred. But it still brings you into, so I'm just a black man existing, but I can only excel if I'm with this white woman. So then the question then becomes, and so if that's how you feel, your role is to now try to degrade the black girl who grew up in the same environment, who's trying to push forward and is not getting any support from the other community, and now can't get support from you, and that's her fault. When you say identity and being able to accept and embrace who you are as a person of color, I don't care who you date. Make no mistake. I only give a damn when you decide to put me outside of that box because you're not comfortable enough to walk in your truth. Your truth is nappy here. For the most of us. It is. Yeah. Your truth is a wide nose.
Right.
Your truth is a pyramid of colors of your skin. Your truth is that we get tattoos sometimes as a reflection of how we grew up, not as a marking against the skin, as if we're trying to downgrade ourselves. Yes, we cocoa butter to shine up because our skin looks better like that. Yes, we like to wear our hair different because that's who we are. We've been wearing our hair different, but if you take New England and you take the 17 and the 1800s, everybody was wearing wigs. So you blaming us because we want to switch them up? Are you being realistic as it relates to identity when you're dating this woman outside the race? That she also has tracks in her hair?
Talk about it.
Why are you not blaming her for that? Why are you looking at us in New England and saying that woman isn't pretty, and then go home to your mama on Thanksgiving and look at her because what you're saying is your mama ain't pretty? That's how I'm seeing identity, because I embrace the blackness. I embrace the earrings and the nose. I embrace the hairs and the weave and the long nails. And no, you're not going to tell me because I wear long nails they came from Asians. And your point is, when in the circles that we've been in, and me and Angie we just gravitated to each other, and thank goodness we did, because we needed a soundboard. Yeah. We're doing a podcast because we need all of you as our soundboard. We need an open space to say, nah, bruh. Nah,
and bruh. Really try and see what is going on. And I do, again, from my perspective, it just feels like a lot of the dating pool of black men that I would like to date, so that they may not be secure, they don't present secure in their identity, that they very much want to adapt and assimilate to white culture, and again for them to feel successful. And then to me this goes into kind of the next piece, so that they won't be ostracized for whatever reason.
Facts. Big facts.
So then they ostracize us. Like even just being going into some rooms and where it's not many of us, and the black men that are there may be with white women or non-black females, and they won't even say hello.
They won't even say hello. Or not that we're trying to take them anywhere.
Just look at you almost like with disdain, or they look at you and like, what are you doing here? Again, I don't know what it is, and again, I can only speak from my viewpoint, which is just being proud of who I am. There's so many things that make up who I am, and a huge part of what makes up who I am is the skin that I am in, the melanin that I'm able to absorb, so that does dictate how I experience this world. And I proudly embrace that. And I think sometimes when I appear in certain rooms and proudly displaying all of this, that I do become ostracized. And I'm trying to figure out why. And again, I can't assume, but from what I've perceived, I'm drawing these conclusions, and would love to hear, from the black male perspective in New England, like, why and what.